the heavy albums of 1988. And this one's a special one if you really think about this year, 1988. If you're a fan of the Big Four, this is the only year where all Big Four artists have put out an album the same year. And I'm talking about Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax. So much shit, good shit, I'm going to say, came out this year. But yes, let's start off with Metallica, And Justice for All. Their fourth album on Elektra Records. This is probably their most pissed off album. Master Puppets that came out before that was pretty brutal, pretty angry, But this one, it's like they had a reason to be. The loss of Cliff Burton, the shit that was going on during that time frame when they were making songs. I don't want to dive too deep into that because it's been said fucking many places before, many fucking times. But yes, recruiting Jason Newsted. My only complaint about the album is the lack of bass guitar. That's what you're gonna hear from everybody. But no, I mean, I heard the rough mixes. The bass sounds pretty fucking good in the rough mixes that I heard when you buy the 30th anniversary that came out. But I mean, it's like, okay, the kick drums, the snare drum, all the fucking drums sound fucking tits. They're pretty raw. The guitars are mean as fuck. There's probably 4 or 5 overdubs that James is doing with the harmonies even. It's fucking pretty layered. And his vocals are fucking just harsh. He's fucking pissed. You could tell. It's almost like, I don't want to compare, but you know what I mean? It's like Sepultura pissed. It's not quite in the death metal realm, but it is like a fucking hardcore fucking frontman. You know what I'm saying? And Kirk Hammett's solos are pretty fucking stellar on this album. I mean, they're always pretty good, but I mean, it's almost like he's putting in a little more aggression in his leads on this one compared to Puppets. And Puppets is probably one of my favorite albums. I'm gonna not talk about those right now. And I'll jump into the go-to tracks. I'm gonna say Blackened. Blackened fucking is a good starter for the album. That main riff you hear, that's written by Jason Newsted when him and James are getting together to collaborate for a song that they needed to do when he first joined the band, I guess. I'm not sure if that was a leftover Flotsam and Jetsam riff that he intended to use. I don't remember the details on that quite well, but I do know him and James were jamming and made that song together. Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of Slayer, it has like a real fucking sinister kind of dark minor note type of deal to it. The next track I'm going to go for is Eye of the Beholder. I think that song's pretty fucking tight. Of course, I'm going to say One. I mean, that's the first song I've heard from the band that I knew was like, okay, this is some good shit. I was a little kid, I was fucking 8, 9 when the video came out. 89? I was almost 9 years old, but whatever. Yeah, I was a little kid and I was looking at this video and I was fucking blown away. I was like, this is some gnarly sounding shit. I've heard some heavy shit in the 80s as a little guy, but that one fucking, really got my attention. And another one I dig a lot is The Frayed Ends of Sanity. I really like the riffs of the whole thing are pretty good, but there's a part where the guitar solo is coming in. It's like, yeah, the fucking solos kick ass and everything, but the rhythm guitar James is playing next to it, I don't know I tried playing guitar to the rhythm, and I just couldn't fucking do it. It's really tricky the way he's doing some weird fucking picking pattern. I have to look at the tablature, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. And the instrumental To Live Is To Die, and has a little spoken word James is doing with Cliff Burton's poetry. So this is the only album you'll hear, or in existence of Metallica, whatever, that has writing credits by Jason Newsted and Cliff Burton, which I think that's kind of a cool thing. I pay attention to stuff like that. I'm kind of a nerd. But I'm not going to dig deep too on the accolades. I think a lot of people know about Metallica's, statuses on every album or whatever. But yeah, pretty much you got a pissed off James, Lars, Kirk, and Jason Newsted. It's pretty fucking pissed, obviously, but he got picked on a lot, blah, blah, blah. We know the story. He came from Flotsam and Jetsam. He was giving props to Flotsam and Jetsam when he was in Metallica. It's like he didn't want to forget his homies, you know what I mean? I fucking like how he was kind of representing where he came from. He's like, yeah, I'm a rock star now, but, I came from this fucking band that fucking got me to where I'm at now. And I thought that was cool how he's kind of pointing that out. I was really digging that. So enough about Metallica on this one. Let's just get that one out of the way. Great fucking album. Killer. I fucking love it. But, we all know the story. Up next, we're going to talk about Megadeth with the album So Far, So Good, So What. And a lot of people don't like this album. I guess the production's a little muffly. It's not like in your face like the record before that and one after that we'll not talk about. Anyway, Into the Lungs of Hell, the instrumental intro is fucking tight. Set the World Afire, I fucking love that fucking song. The Sex Pistols cover Anarchy in the UK is it's pretty good. I like it. Mary Jane's alright. 502. I need to listen to this again because it has been a while, and I used to listen to this a lot in high school. In high school, 95 to 99. I used to fucking play these fucking things a lot. My Darkest Hour is probably close to my favorite. Liar is pretty tight. I like the derogatory shit. He's just kind of talking shit through it. And Hook and Mouth, he's fucking pissed. That was a good fucking exit to the album. And yes, I'm aware of all the Capitol albums they put out, the Capitol record albums, were reissued in 2004. And I'm not going to talk too much shit, but they should have probably have just remixed them, not added overdubs. It's just I guess it's his stuff. He can do what he wants, so I'm not going to talk shit. That's his painting, fucking. It's your Mona Lisa, bro. If you want to add fucking mustaches and shit, go right the fuck ahead. But in my opinion, the original fucking recording should just kind of maybe be remixed or remastered, remixed, whatever. Just give them a touch up with the EQs, But that's probably it, because otherwise it is a pretty good fucking album. All of them are. And this being their third album, this is the only album to feature this particular lineup. Of course, it's Dave Mustaine on guitar vocals, Dave Ellefson on bass, Jeff Young on guitars, and Chuck Baylor on drums. But I do kind of find it weird how people say this is their worst album back in the day, and it's well, it went platinum. I mean that's an accolade of positivity, I guess, but it's not a bad fucking album. It's just a very odd sounding record compared to the ones around it at the time, anyway. And I guess Chuck Baylor was the band's drum tech at one time. And I think, what's his name? Dave Lombardo from Slayer, I guess, was even considered to be part of the band. And I don't want to go too off course, but that's from what I heard. He was going to leave Slayer at some time after Rain and Blood. And I heard Slayer was going to recruit Greg Hall from Sacred Reich on drums, but let's not go too far off of that course right now. And I think this is around the time fucking Dave Mustaine wanted to recruit Slash from Guns N' Roses. That would have been a fucking crazy sound. I mean, I'm sure Slash could pull it off, but I'm just trying to figure that style. It might have worked. You never know. Because, there's a little fucking... Every guitarist that's joined the band has brought their own flavor. So that might have been kind of cool. But, hey, rock on. I would just picture a guy in a top hat playing thrash metal, That'd be cool, too, whatever. I also heard somewhere when making this album, when they covered Anarchy in the UK from the Sex Pistols, that Mustaine originally wanted to do the song Problems for it. But I guess something with the management or whatever told them to use that, or don't take it from me all the way, but and I think that's why he used it later as a exclusive track on the Hidden Treasures compilation that came out in 95. But up next is Slayer with South of Heaven, and this would be album number 4. This is an album where they slowed the songs down a little bit, because of the all the positive reviews about the Rain and Blood album, which is probably one of their best fucking albums ever. The fastest, most pissed off, aggressive, whatever album. They didn't want to be, they discussed it as band members not to compete with the album they just did, 2 years ago. So they went the opposite route and slowed it down a little bit and made the song, I don't want to say melodic, but I think they got a little more experimental with, slowing down and some clean guitar stuff. And you also got a Judas Priest cover, Dissident Aggressor, which, I thought that was kind of cool they did that. Don't know why they chose that song. Nothing, again, that's a good song, but with all the Judas Priest songs, you think they would have picked something a little bit more, more aggressive, not aggressive, but it just didn't seem like it fit the album. It's a fucking great cover, don't get me wrong. I just thought it kind of stood out a little bit odd. But no, great songs on the album. Fucking South of Heaven, that's probably a great fucking intro. I like the last song in the album, Spill the Blood, how it has like a real creepy, clean guitar doing some minor notes, and then it kind of fucking kicks in with a real fucking sinister, like, electric riff that comes in. That's a good fucking combo. That's the kind of shit Slayer does that I really fucking kind of got me into them. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of the bands had some badass riffs, but Slayers were kind of like horror movie fucking, like, really fucking sinister sounding riffs. That's one thing I thought more bands should kind of do that, you know, because, you know, they got some badass riffs. Get me wrong, but it's like, dude, Slayer just had that fucking, that darkness. The whole album is pretty good, but I'm gonna have to go with Behind the Crooked Cross maybe, but I think Mandatory Suicides might be my favorite song on the album. Fucking catchy as fuck. Got a badass fucking riff to it. The fucking lyrical content, you know, says it all too. Ghosts of War, you know, I'm gonna fucking go with that one too. But I think Mandatory Suicide is the one I'm gonna fucking my go-to song on the album. And this album's a gold seller. You think by now it would have went platinum or close to it. But no, I mean, it went gold. I mean, that's great. I'm not gonna fucking dog that. That's, you know, fucking, that's a good achievement for a good band. You know, just the fucking, you know, the public sucks, the industry sucks, the fucking advertisement, all that shit, society, fuck them. Anyway, and here we go, another fourth album by a big four band, Anthrax, State of Euphoria. This is considered by the band and even fans that it's probably the worst album in their collection. And I don't want to say worst, I mean maybe least best, but it does have some good songs. But I guess the band didn't get to complete a lot of the shit they're recording in the album. So there's like overdubs they meant to do or something like that. They just said there's a lot of stuff they were trying to put in the album that just never happened. Yeah, and the album features Antisocial, which is a cover song of the band Trust. You know, that's a pretty cool song, whatever. I just don't really dig it too much. It's like, it's just there. But I'm going to say Be All End All, of course, might be, you know, I guess my favorite. I kind of like Finale. It's at the end of the album, which is smart, but no, that's a good fucking song. I think that one might be my favorite. Be All End All is great. I love that fucking low-ass cello played by Carol Friedman. And I mean, the album did actually pretty good. It did go gold, and I think I know the band hated it. A lot of fans are kind of like, but I'm just like, well, kind of shocked, because, you know, if it did that great, it's like, why do so many fans don't like it? Which kind of doesn't really click in some ways, but whatever. Some of the lyrical content comes from books, movies, and I don't know for certain, but I think this is around the time the band started writing songs, like where Charlie Benante, the drummer, started writing the guitar riffs, you know, the music compositions, and Scott Ian was writing the lyrics. So I think this is like when the band started experimenting different ways of songwriting like that format. And then, like, of course, you know, like the band members helping write the harmonies and whatnot. So it's like all the band kind of worked together, but it's like the meat and the potatoes of the song was Charlie Benante and Scott Ian. But you would think Scott Ian, being the guitar player, would be writing the riffs, but it was kind of like a switchover. It was like the guitar player's writing the lyrics for the singer to sing, and the drummer's writing the guitar riffs for the guitar player to play. But hey, that's cool. It worked out pretty good. I mean, maybe there's a good formula to that. That's just not really like something I would do when I play in a band. I like to write all my shit, so that's just how I roll. Now that we got the Big Four section out of the way, so one of my personal favorite bands, Armored Saint, put out a live album this year. I'm going to throw it in just because I fucking dig it. It's called Saints Will Conquer. Features 7 live tracks, and the band was a 4-piece when they had David Pritchard on guitar before he passed away. And the studio bonus track was from the 1982 EP, the Armored Saint EP, called No Reason to Live. And I'm kind of like confused why they put that as a bonus track, which is no complaints, it's great. But I'm thinking, why don't they just put that Armored Saint EP out as a complete 5-track release instead of the 3? You know, like I I kind of found that weird. I don't want to get off topic, but they did that with a compilation called Nod to the Old School, where one of the songs on there was taken from that session too. And I'm just like, why don't they just put that EP as a whole by itself? But that's just, I kind of was wondering why there was a lot of confusion with some of the rarities and stuff that get spread around like that. Yeah, and this is during the Raising Fear tour when they tracked this. It was at Cleveland, Ohio, at the Gora Ballroom. I am a little confused on why it's almost an EP, and I'm kind of I'm confused because there's a bunch of songs in their set. You think that would have been on here, but it's like, hey, it's whatever. Maybe they didn't come out right. Maybe some shit happened, or because I highly doubt they would purposely skip a bunch of their songs because it's missing a lot of songs I'm not going to get into. But I mean, at least it has Chemical Euphoria and Can You Deliver, which is one of their first hit, as well as Long Before I Die and Madhouse. I mean, it's a good listen. It's a really good concert. I like the sound quality. Some people always I've heard people talk negative about how it sounds, and I think I'm picky with live albums, but I think it sounds good. It has a nice warm, almost muffly tone to it. But I actually like that. I'd rather hear that than that piercing fucking noisy feedback shit and overly loud fucking audiences. I think it's a pretty good mix, especially for the year it came out. But it is hard to find. I had to actually dig on eBay to find me a copy. And the reissues, which I thought was kind of weird, they're actually hard to find. And they actually reissued a bunch of Armored Saint a couple years back. And for some reason, they skipped this live album. I don't know fucking why. Maybe they had other plans for those recordings. I don't know. And hopefully, I'm hoping that all these albums stay available for people to purchase. Not just stream on the fucking Spotify bullshit, but actually fucking buy physical copies and downloads. I fucking like when you have the option to have both. But anyway, next. And here's one of the first bands that I've loved since I was a child. Probably one of my favorite bands still, and probably will ever always be. And we're talking Van Halen with their 8th album. Oh, U812? Yes. That album has a fucking goofy title. It's probably the band's least, I know this year came out, it has a lot of least favorites from people. And I get it. A lot of bands are changing sound. It's the late 80s, I get it. It's a good album, actually. But I mean, yeah, it's probably in their catalog, one of my lower favorites. But this is the Sammy Hagar fronted area, and this album features the only song Hagar actually plays second guitar on, and it's Finish What You Started. He plays the acoustic that you hear on the right channel when you're listening to the song, and he's doing all the noodly stuff on the left, and Hagar's banging a couple chords and some open bin notes, which I think sounds kind of neat. Black and Blue's another hit. That one's pretty good, don't get me wrong. I kind of dig the song Source of Infection. Kind of reminds me of the old Van Halen style with the double bass, kind of like that ZZ Top thing that Eddie and Alex are kind of doing, their little combo that they're known for. And of course, you can't go wrong with Michael Anthony's backup vocals. They're just they make the songs just fucking glow. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he could have been the front man for the band. I'm gonna stand by that. His voice is fucking immaculate. We'll just say he made David Lee Roth sound good I love the Roth era. Shit. I don't want to talk about the fucking who's better, Roth or Hagar bullshit, but yeah, Roth kicks ass. They both kick ass. The band's Van Halen, Eddie, Alex, Michael, they make the band sound great. Shut the fuck up. But who gives a fuck who's singing? They had great singers no matter who the fuck it is. I actually dig the song Cabo Wabo about his Sammy Hagar's bar and grill and music venue in Cabo Wabo, Mexico. And it's I get it. People were freaking out because Van Halen's not writing party songs like they used to be. It's yeah, they're aging. The party's over a little bit. Come on, it's time for the nightcap. So look at it that way. It's still they're still a fun band. It's just all right, they're delving into more melodic shit. Let's fucking chill out a little bit. We'll still get some pussy. We'll have liquor still, but we're gonna just be a little bit more classy about it. And since we're on the Van Halen topic, we got an album by David Lee Roth, his second solo album. And we got Steve Vai on guitar, of course. And you also got Billy Sheehan on bass. He's fucking amazing, that bass player. And you got Greg Bissonette on drums. And you got Brett Tuggle, keyboardist. He also played for Fleetwood Mac. I'm not going to talk too much about the album because it's like, I don't know, it didn't grow on me that much. You hear that song Just Like Paradise, you hear it all over the radio. It was like, okay, it's another pop hit. It's not bad, I get it, but it's just like super commercial. But the rest of the album's okay. Skyscraper, pretty good song, but I kind of find it weird because it's like, yeah, the album before it was better, I thought. Eat 'Em and Smile. And the obscure fucking albums Roth put out, I thought were way fucking better. Your Filthy Little Mouth is pretty fucking good. A Little Ain't Enough. I mean, it's like, those albums I find better. Like, I know they don't have Steve Vai in the band or whatever, but no, the weird shit he put out after, it's like, it has really good blues shit, and I don't want to fucking talk about those right now, but I don't know, I just figured I'd throw in this David Lee Roth shit just because I mentioned Van Halen, and that might shut the other fucking people up. But me talking about a Hagar fucking album, because that debate always comes up when you talk about Van Halen, regardless what the fucking lineup is. Anyway. So yeah, I'm going to chop this bastard in half, and we're going to end this one, and there's going to be another half. I'll be posting a little later. But anyway, thank you for checking out Mean Street Journal. Until next time, for all your offensive apparel needs, go to tpublic.com for Mean Street Wear. And don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that shit. Follow all the socials, Spotify, YouTube, Your Sister's Ass, The Pony Express, whatever that comedian Vic DiBitetto likes to say. That shit cracks me up. Anyway, catch you later. See ya.